Sometimes in order to move forward, we must first begin by going backwards. I was running as fast as my little legs could carry me. Today was the day, and I see people crying. That's all right. That's what it's about, a change. Today was the day I was going to pronounce my undying love for the boy of my dreams. It didn't matter that we were only in the second grade. I was going to express my love, and he was going to love me happily ever after. I kept checking my pocket to make sure that the envelope was still there. I had pinned it, stapled it, zipped it, and put a rubber band around it, and on top of all of that to make sure that I didn't lose it along the way. Good Lord! As fast as my legs was running, it still felt as if the school was a zillion miles away. What kept slowing me down was those hideous black and white Oxfords that my mother made me wear to school. Oh, how I hated those shoes. They only made my little skinny legs look even smaller, as if I didn't have enough going wrong with me. I mean, I had short hair, a big forehead, bumpy face, and skinny legs. If that isn't a recipe for a disaster, then I don't know what is. But I knew that it wouldn't matter how I felt about myself. Once the boy of my dreams saw the contents of the envelope, he would love me and make all of my ill feelings about myself go away. Wow, I finally made it, and there he was. I had just to make one final check in my pocket. Good, it was still there. My feet felt like lead as I pranced across the floor with a grin on my face as wide as Lake Erie. I handed him the envelope and took my seat. I sat in the third row behind Vicky, the prettiest girl in the classroom. Her hair lay straight against the back of her shoulders, and whenever she turned her neck, it would flow from side to side like an ocean tide. I think I hate her. Besides, all of that flowing hair is blocking my view of the boy of my dreams. Did he open the envelope? Did he read the note? Did he notice the contents? Was he able to read my secondhand scrawl? I wrote it as plainly as I could. I love you. Do you love me? To secure a positive answer, I included 2 $1 bills that I had unintentionally stolen from my cousin's wallet the night before. She would never miss it. And I'm sure that she would want me to have the $2, considering the role that it would play in securing my future with the boy of my dreams. Good grief. If it wasn't for pretty Vicky's long straight hair, I could get a glimpse of his response. He must have known by now how much I love him and realized I can prove it by giving him my $2. Oh well. I guess I would just have to wait until recess to hear him ask for my hand in marriage. Yes, I can see it all now. Who would take the little girl with the skinny legs? I will is going to be his response. The whole class will know that it was me that he chose, in spite of my bumpy face, in spite of my big forehead, in spite of my skinny legs, and we will get to live happily ever after. After what seemed like eternity, the recess bell finally rang. I wasn't at all surprised when the boy of my dreams jumped from his chair, ran out of the building, and made a beeline across the street to the candy store. I stood outside watching him as he pointed out every flavor of penny candy to the man behind the counter. I watched as he piled the bag high with all of those delectable treats. My mouth was watering as if it was a hose disconnected from the faucet. I could see us all wrapped up arm in arm, feeding each other candy until our stomach ached. Yes, today was a good day. I smiled as he walked out the door, but was a little confused when he began to rush right past me without a glance. Maybe he didn't see me, so I intentionally stepped in his path and was almost knocked down in his hurry to get away. Hey, wait a minute. Where are you going, little boy of my dreams? He never turned around, but kept a steady pace as he scrambled to the playground. Then I saw something that had altered my life from that day to this. The little boy of my dreams walked right up to Vicky, the light-skinned girl with the hair flowing like a river, and handed her the bag of candy. What? That was not how this day that I had anticipated forever was supposed to end. I cried buckets of tears as I watched him unwrapping candy intended for me, and as they made goo-goo eyes at each other. I could not stop crying. Too embarrassed to go back to the building, I ran all the way home proclaiming a terrible stomachache to my mother as a reason for my early arrival. How was I to know that the $2 inside the envelope would establish a self-destructing pattern throughout my life in my search for love? Relationship after relationship always began and ended the same, with me trying to convince the brother that if he just looked past what he saw, then he could enjoy the fruits of my labor. In other words, he could have my $2 if he would just love me. One day, someone gave me the definition of insanity: doing the same thing over and over while expecting a different result. I don't know when it happened, where it happened, or how it happened, but I know that I've changed. I do know that after much needed soul searching, talking to God and reading every book ever written, including Yvonne Van Zant's Yesterday I Cried Twice, I have finally arrived. It doesn't matter that I'm half a century old, I got it. I have learned that I must first love, accept, and appreciate myself, and the rest will follow. I only wish that I'd learned the lesson sooner. If I only had half the money that I've given away over the years in my attempt to secure love, I would be a rich woman. Well, it ain't no sense in crying over spilt milk. What's done is done. However, the lesson that I've learned and the lesson that I want to teach you today is that all you have to do is love yourself. And with that, and all I have to do is love me. And the next time with this knowledge, I'm keeping my $2 in my pocket and buying my own candy. Yes. Oh, yes. I got my $2 back. I got my $2 back. And now that I have my $2 in my pocket, it's time to change. And it's time to spread the word. I do want to give honor to God, and who is the head of my life, and to my family who is here today. I was getting my hair done the other day, and I was talking to the girl in the salon, and she said, "What's your topic?" And I said, "Sleeping with the enemy." And she said, "Girl, I know what you talking about." Yeah, Lord. She said, "'Cause I got rid of that enemy this past weekend." And as she said it, I turned and looked, and I thought, how is that possible when you still standing there? So I just want to just put a little shock on everybody on today that thought for sure that somebody else was the enemy. In our bags today, there's a mirror. And I want you to take that mirror and get a good look at the face of the enemy. You got your mirrors in your hand? I see you fixing your hair. That's not the purpose, Mimi. The point is, when you think about anything that you have not been able to accomplish, everything you've been blaming on everybody else, the only reason it hasn't gotten done is because you. I want you to now, I know some of y'all saying, I don't know who she calling the enemy. I ain't hardly no enemy. But all you have to do is take a moment and think about where you are in your life. And you know that you are supposed to be further. You know God has called you to do something else. You know that you are not happy with where you are. Now, I know we put up a good game. We got a good front. We got a good back. But the truth of the matter is, you are the only person that can stop you. And tell me, what do you see? It took me a long time to get my $2 back, and some of y'all still got, somebody else still have your $2.